Okay, so what does the future look like then? Because now, the Morgan Stanley study, I think it
Yeah.
was that 50% of women between 25 and 45 will be single and childless.
Hmm.
There's just not going to be children? Do you
Yeah.
think the birth rate's going to keep
We're,
dropping?
the trends we have now will continue. Debt will go up, fertility rates will go down, marriage rates will go down. Um, uh, I think economic growth is also going to go down because one of the main premises is on my book, A World Without Men, is do you know what we run on? What men run on?
Women, sex.
We run on
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
103 octane sex. Without that, and you've seen the memes where it's men think it's great to live like this. It's just a TV with a cot and a video game. Yes, you're going to see economic growth, I think, not only decrease more than it is now. Like our long-term growth, we used to grow about 4.5% back in the 40s to the 60s, 20-year average. Now we're at like half that, 2.25%. I think it's going to drop to 1 and then just be a nominal 0, where we'll be happy if it's positive. Because the men don't have any incentive to work. They really, traditionally speaking, they might have an intellectual interest or maybe, hey, it's my life, I'm going to maximize it for the sake of it, doing it anyway. But yes, generally speaking, I think the economy will continue to decay, maybe not collapse, but decay. It'll be sclerotic growth. It will be mundane. People are going to get fatter, going to be, it's just going to be malaise is going to be just an increasing amount of malaise of what we have now, but just more of it in the future.
Wow, it's so weird to think about it. And it's weird to even think back to like when I was a kid because I grew up with 9 siblings. And I know.
Wow.
I know you're like
Your old man was busy.
Well, 3 were adopted. It's kind of a weird story. Like 3 were adopted.
Oh, all right.
And then but like biologically 7. And so it's weird. And everyone pretty much had families. And it was a little bit bigger, I would say, like 2 to 4, which I didn't know a lot of only children, which is common now. So it's weird how the world is changing like so fast.
Yeah, no, it's rapid. It's happening rapidly, and sometimes I have trouble keeping up on it because you never get polling data. You don't get data right. That's not the first bit of information identifying a trend or something that's happening. It's usually an anecdote. And I don't really like the Daily Mail or the New York Post because they're tabloids.
Yeah.
But those are usually the first ones that are going to pick something up on their radar. We're like, what are they doing now? Why are they dyeing their hair purple? Nose piercings, they didn't have those when I was young.
Right.
You looked like an idiot back then, and you still look like an idiot now. But now you can't go all day without some girl without a bull ring in her nose. And so it's Overton's window as to like how much more ridiculous towards the malaise and depression and sadness spectrum are we going to get going? And I just kind of almost don't want to watch. Someone says, "Oh my God, can you?" Like, no, not today, man. No, I'm gonna go swimming or I'm gonna go shoot guns or something. I'm just gonna go have an ice cream.
We're all kind of watching like the decline of like a great society, pretty much.
It's watching someone die.
Yeah,
it is watching someone die. Watching your dog die of a slow, painful death, and after a while, you just can't watch it anymore.
Even patriotism is like gone. like I don't know. When I was growing up, like we would always blast like the courtesy, the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of propaganda in a way, but it was fun. Everyone was really proud to be American, and I don't get that same like sense the way I used to.
Well, I mean, I am for the principles and ideals of America.
Yeah.
Freedom, individuality, responsibility, leave us the F alone, that kind of thing. But you don't have that in the United States. Your average American is frankly a fat loser who doesn't want to work. It depends on your generation, is rapidly trying to find some kind of disability they can claim, either something they were born with or they can claim to have, which is why mental disorders are very popular. What was it? Like 1 in 5 Zoomers claim they're not straight. Get the fuck out of here. So that's what's going to continue to happen. But yeah, you can see the elimination of traditional historical Americans. And your modern day people who live, you couldn't call them Americans. People who live in America and have American citizenship, you're not Americans. The vast majority of you are not Americans.
So are there going to be catastrophic effects on the economy with the birth rate declining because all of the industries will be super old? and then they won't be able to, and then the younger generation has to take care of the older?
No, it's
Really?
no,
Okay.
but population. The truth is, here's the truth:
Okay.
population growth or decline doesn't matter.
No way.
It's per person, per capita standards of living. All right. For example, Japan. Japan or Korea or even us or China.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not having any more babies. Just think that through. Okay, so let's say the boomers die in Japan or here. What happens to the one child they had?
They have kids, or maybe they don't.
Mom and dad die. There's one child. The one kid?
They'll probably want a family, right?
I don't know. What happens after death?
Oh, they get the money?
They get all the money.
Sorry.
And instead
I thought you were going a different direction.
Instead of on the individual level of a family, think of it as a nation. Okay. There's all these plants. There's all these factories. There's all these roads. There's all these assets in Japan. Okay. So the older generation dies. The younger generation inherits twice the amount of shit. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Now you might have an argument. Okay. Well, we're not using the roads as much, so we'd use less roads. Maybe, housing would get cheaper. I know younger people are concerned about that. So what? Your population went down. That doesn't mean your productive capacity or your standards of living go down. Where it becomes an issue for everyone, this is where you can't trust the economists because everyone's a liar. The reason they want a younger generation is because we have a Ponzi scheme type of retirement system, social pension.
Oh.
Mainly Social Security here and Medicare, but other countries have the same thing. And this is why there's a big pull. We got to get immigrants in. We got to get younger people because older people, they don't want they don't want these retirement systems or these pension systems going bankrupt. If you got rid of the welfare state and just, I hope everyone's sitting down, and maybe you paid for your own goddamn retirement, it wouldn't matter whether there was a third less Americans or a third more Americans or half the Japanese or twice the Japanese, because it would be the same amount of people. There wouldn't be this archaic pension system you have to fund. That's why they're really worried about population growth. It's not because of the environment or anything like that. They want the freaking government check.
You just blew my mind. I have been hearing about the population, the birth rate. Look at you. No, I've been hearing about this my whole life.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait. Which is it? Are we going to overpopulate the world to cause global warming? Or there's not enough young people being born?
Wow.
Choose your crisis.
No, you're
Choose your freaking crisis.
Did I get bamboozled?
Yeah. Well, everyone's gotten bamboozled.
Yeah.
If you've been alive in the past 40 years as a kid, you've been bamboozled. You've been lied to.
Wow. So the real reason they go on about the birth rate is not because society couldn't function with less people. It's because of the Social Security that's collapsing.
Right. Older people look, in the olden days, you would just take care of your family, right?
Right.
Before the welfare state, before FDR, and Social Security predates the welfare state. If you would just take care of grandma and grandpa,
Wow.
all right? You outsource that to the tune of 15.6% of everybody's paycheck. Young people paying old people now. Yeah. You had the government take over of taking care of the old people. And that's it. So now, oh my God, there's less young people. Oh, we got to do something. Otherwise, we'll, one, not get reelected. And then two, the old people won't get their money and then they'll vote us out of office.
Wow. So what's going to happen with Social Security? It's got to collapse eventually.
No, I don't know if you know. No, well, okay. Did Venezuela collapse?
I don't know.
See, you see, it's a philosophical question.
I couldn't tell you.
TFM talks. You know turd-flinging monkey? No, okay. You might want to listen. He's a little bit. He's your sex bot girl expert in the field. So he's interesting conversation on its own. Shoot, what were we talking about?
Social Security is going to collapse.
No, because TFM, he's like, oh, we're going to run out of money. That's not how collapses happen. That's not how it's going to. You will never run out of money because you can always print off more. You're always going to get your welfare check. You're always going to get your Social Security. It's what can you buy with that check? Inflation. I could give you a $10,000 a month check on welfare, Social Security, but if gas is $20 a gallon,
and that's how it's going to hit everybody.
It's happening now. That's I can't afford housing. Why is gas so high?
Right. Do you see Bitcoin as a good alternative?
Yes, I do see cryptocurrency in general. I can't endorse an individual one, nor at these individual prices. I'm just saying, as an asset class, that is an insurance policy I recommend financially, that it should be the part of every well-balanced investment portfolio.
Do you think that the entire dollar is going to collapse in the next 15 years?
Have you seen the chart of what a dollar would buy you 100 years ago? See, everyone's like, oh, what's going to happen? We got to collapse. It's like, what do you call a loss of 98% of your purchasing power? It's just been a really slow collapse.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Will it ever be, do you think I can't remember what country, but I know there was some country that overnight it just was like.
Oh, that's several countries. I mean, it depends. But yeah.
Don't ask me. But.
No, it will continue. I don't know. This might be too much math for you, okay? I'm glad you're saying that. Let's say our GDP, we produce 2% more stuff, right? Okay, but we increase our money supply by 10%, right? Now, I'm no economist.
8%.
But I'm going to guess inflation is going to be 8%. You're going to have 8% less purchasing power. Yeah. It's a pretty simple math you could do. What was our real GDP growth? How much more money in M1 or M2 did we print off? Whichever measure you want to do. Take the difference. That's a tax. That's how much money you've lost in purchasing power.
So if you have $100, I'm curious, what percent do you think people should keep in dollars, Bitcoin, or investment?
Oh, it depends on how old you are and what you're like. If you're 65, you're going to be more fixed income. That's your classical financial planner type of stuff. Younger people, obviously, are going to skew more towards equities. I advocated long ago. You can, especially young people, you could say, well, should I invest in cryptocurrency? Should I invest in silver? Should I invest in the S&P 500? Young people should invest in skills that appreciate with inflation. That's your biggest hedge against inflation. Dentists don't worry about inflation. They just raise the prices. CPAs don't worry about inflation. They just raise the prices. Mechanics, plumbers, all those guys, they just diversity and inclusion consultants. Depending on whether you get your funding or not, you are hosed if the funding gets cut. Journalism majors, you're hosed. So
do you think these women's jobs will be cut then? Even
no, I think you're already seeing it happen. You got to be empirical. Texas just defunded DEI, so they laid off a bunch of people in academia. It will depend on the government. Yeah, thank God. It'll depend on the state or the government. Whether or not there's funding for it. I think corporations are starting to realize with the different, in general, woke stuff, it doesn't have to be female employment, but any kind of political bullshit, they're starting to realize that doesn't pay. So Disney hasn't changed their mind. They're just doubling down on everything. But Bud Light is turning around. Target is not going to stick pride in your face every June as much as it used to. I think we probably did hit peak DEI employment. Okay. I think that, and not that it's going to go away, but it's going to plateau, maybe go gradually down, but it's going to be with us for a while. And it probably it's like HR. I don't know who came up with the idea of human resources. It's not necessary. Women. But, well, no, did they really? I don't know.
I don't know anyone that likes to tell people how to talk more than women.
But what is what are the origins of HR? I don't know, but it's still here. Yeah. And it's been slowly eroding over time. People don't trust HR as much as they used to. They're outsourcing it. So I think that at one point, say in the 80s or 90s, HR was at its best. And now it's been slowly eroded because it doesn't serve any value or serves less value than it costs.
My roommate in college, she got an HR job right out of college, started making like $60K a year.
That's good.
Really good. Yeah. But she had trouble because she got a really big car lease. I know. I remember one time she was like late paying me rent or so. She was like complaining to me and I'm like, well, why did you get the new car? Like you had a car.
Math is hard. It's really hard.
Why does my generation, why are we so bad with money?
Your generation, have you met the baby boomers where like a third of them they're not going to retire? What?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
You guys don't have.
This is normal.
You guys don't have a monopoly on bad financial moves, okay?
I'm a millennial. I'm at the end of millennials.
Well, again, every American alive today,
Yeah.
you're not real Americans. You're just money-spending, debt-ridden
Right.
morons. No, that is, I could show you a ton of baby boomers' balance sheets where they have that classic car they always wanted, and they got their boat, and they have $300 in their bank account, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, that's, I don't think the poor financial management is strictly a Zoomer affair.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's.
I guess people are really bad with money, huh?
I don't know. Did you see the $32 trillion national debt?
Well,
do you need to look at the student loan? They're still begging for a student, but the time they've all wasted begging for a student loan bailout, if they all got off their lazy asses and worked a second job, they'd have their student loans paid off by now. Most of them, anyway.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd have to do the numbers, but they've been complaining about for what, about a decade now?
Right.
You work the average balance student loan is $36,000. That's less than your brand new car, average brand new car.
Mm-hmm.
So $36,000, 10 years, you work a part-time job, you could have easily paid that off years ago. We're going to sit here and bitch and whine about it.